Hello, everybody. Jerome Wright here once again. And again, you're joining me on my Jerome Wright YouTube channel here on YouTube. Okay. In this video, I'm going to be, again, making it a pretty amazing find and discovery. And it's so much of an idea or a scenario that I created. I was just on my alien UFO site. If any of you that want to go there, it's Alien UFOs, Dreams and Experiences. And that's the Dreams and Experience Forum. And my title there is I Am an Alien and So Are You. And it's under my name, Jerome. Basically, I was posed a question, as I sometimes am, about, because on that site I talk about space junk being in space and about the damning effects that it has, because this here is what you're looking at, and these are images, space images of space debris and space junk. Even over here, someone even actually put a garbage truck floating in space, because that's pretty much is what's going on, because all of these objects that you see here is that of space junk. Okay, and to give you an idea of what's out there, can you see that image there? That's pretty much what it looks like. Now, I was reasonably believed that it was 2,000 pieces, not 6,000 pieces of space debris, and come to find out that I think somebody said that there was like about 20,000. And the threat about all of this being in space is the fact that it sometimes come back to Earth, and it could actually land anywhere that it wants to, in a metropolitan area, on a farm as it is here, in the suburbs, anywhere that it so darn pleases. Okay. So the guy asked me, he said, well, Jerome, what do you do with it? You know what I mean? What is your idea for it? And normally when I'm challenged with a question and it interests me, I challenge my mind to answer the question. And in this case, the answer became very clear, crystal clear. And I responded to him there on my Alien UFOs forum. And now I'm going to create this video. So what do you do? Look at this. Look at this. Here's an image here of it actually coming down, and there's a guy actually standing at a ball of it there that fell from space. So what do you do with such objects that threaten to come falling out of space, and on a re-entry, no telling what kind of damage or where it would hit? What do you do with this stuff? Well, the answer is logically, to me, crystal clear. It comes to me crystal clear. NASA is always, and they're adding to this. So who put this junk there? Well, it's my position that we all know that. I mean, through all of the space explorers, every government body or continent that actually, or country that actually sent up a satellite that they don't use now, a spaceship that they don't use now, or these tanks, they're all responsible for this stuff. So what do you do about cleaning this up? Let me bring up that garbage truck. Whoa. Let me bring up the image of the garbage truck. What do you do about cleaning this up? You see that there? This is pretty much what's happening. Take about 20,000 of these garbage trucks and float them around our planet. And that is what we have there with these satellites. Some of this stuff is even bigger, people. And at any time, you run the risk of the threat of these things losing orbit with our planet and come crashing back down. And they don't discriminate where they fall. Okay? So, how do we fix this problem? That's what the guy asked me. Okay? And the answer is simple to is very clear to me. This is what it looks like. Well, each one of these countries that created this mess, each one of y'all create a vessel, okay, a vessel that flies through our atmosphere on It's conventional fuel. Once it gets into space, it becomes a solar-powered vessel, which actually operates under the propulsion of energy from the sun. Because this vehicle is going to stay in space and clean this mess up. A tow truck, if you will, or a space tow vessel. Now, the device would be equipped. It doesn't even have to be, it could be robot occupied, or it could actually be driven actually a remote controlled vessel. It doesn't have to be manned. It doesn't have to be manned at all. So therefore, now we have to have a latching device for this vessel. This vessel, we want to have a either magnetic grasping device that latches on to any one of the metallic objects, or it could have a mechanical latching or grasping device which grabs this vessel and that grabs these whatever targeted piece of space junk that it goes after. So it's going to grab hold of it. So now, after it grabs hold of it, what happens? Well, the object is going to get towed. Where is it going to get towed to? Not back into our world, because that would be detrimental, not just to our atmospheric layerings on our planet, which all of this stuff has already caused leaving out of our atmosphere, which is causing the degradation of our atmospheric layerings. You don't bring it back in. Where do you take it? You take it to a safe location where you can land this stuff at, and not where it's going to cause harm to someone else either. So where do you take it? Well, you take it here. Close current tab. Close current tab. Well, if I close it, well, alright. I'm going to close this. Oh, gee, Mary. I said close current tab and all of my tabs closed. Okay, hold on, people. Okay, so where did you take it at, people? You take it here. This is an image of our moon. You tow. Oh, I got a couple of images of the moon coming up now. You see that? This vessel, that space tow vessel, now imagine it towing a satellite in close enough to where it can safely let go and the object falls to the surface of the moon, and the vessel that towed it there U-turns and comes back out. It does not land, so it doesn't have to take back off. It tows it in through the moon's airspace to where this satellite or object can be let go, and it could fall to the surface of the moon. And then our vessel, which towed it there, turns back around and completes its recovery mission for as many missions that it can actually possibly take or undergo. Now, oh, this is genius, people. But see, this is how the minds of those, see, I'm having a genuine paranormal experience and encounter. That's why everything that you've never heard of before, I can bring to you. Now, this is the way that Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Einstein, and all of them, see, they all had the upper hand because they understood how things work. Just like I understand how the things work here in space. Now, however, let's go to this. Let's imagine that now all of those responsible, NASA, Russia, China, all of these different entities that put this space junk, space explorer, that put this space junk in space. Now that I've come up with the scenario for them to clean this stuff up, let's just say that their mission is completed. They placed everything here on the moon. So now we got a metal wasteland here on the moon. So what happens now that all of this stuff is on the moon? Well, any one of those countries, each piece of space junk there belongs to someone. So it's already marked. In other words, United States know what belongs to them. USSR knows what belongs to them because they took it there. And China knows what belongs to them because they took it there. Japan, so forth and so with. So, now all of y'all take y'all asses to the moon on independent missions and gather up all your junk on the moon. And now that I've placed these objects on here, you can recycle all of this metal and make your colonies or colonize on the moon with the objects that I've helped you recover from the threat, the looming threat of our world. So now everybody can build their dream palace here on the moon with recovered metal that I got you from the atmospherical areas. I mean, well, not from the orbit of our world. You took the people out of threat of our world. So I'm credited for that. I gave you the idea of what to do with it. I'm credited for that. And now I'm credited for telling you that you can recycle these objects here on the moon. Now, if that's not good enough for you, I know that the sun is further, or Venus or Mercury. If you want to tow it there, then tow it there. But I think that the most logical choice that you have will be to take those objects to the moon by way of tow capacity and then release them and come on back. Now, you have the technology to put that shit in our airspace or in our orbit. So surely you can come up with the technology to take and make devices to tow each one of those 200,000 pieces. From what I read, I thought it was only 6,000. So come to find out it's 20,000. So to take those pieces here. Now, let's just say that NASA, well, there's accountability here, because if it's yours, then you're responsible for cleaning it up. Now that I showed you that there's a way for you to clean it up. So now everybody becomes responsible. Now, and plus we create jobs, because now there's a market for everybody running Scammering to create the first device that's capable of doing all that I said needs to be done. So there's jobs created. And what else is going on here with all of this that comes from this? The possibilities are endless. Now, whoever creates the device, let's just say that, well, Russia does not want to be responsible or held accountable for cleaning this stuff up. They don't want to do it. Let's say China feels the same way. Well, the person that, let's say the U.S. creates the first device to tow these space objects to the moon. Let me get out of the moon now and go back to my space objects. Well, what happens there then? Space objects, space junk. What happens there is that now, all right, here we go. Space images for space junk. We're here. Now what happens is that the party responsible for beginning the recovery mission of this becomes not only the hero to the rest of the world, but they could shoot a bill to the persons which would not be held accountable for this, did not assume responsibility of cleaning up. So in other words, if Russia comes in, they develop the first machine that starts the cleanup process, then they can shoot a bill to the United States, to China, and to whomever for their recovery mission, because they're starting. Once they clean up their stuff, of course, first, then while their machine is there, they can shoot bills to the others and say, hey, look, We're still here. Our machine is still running. We're towing your stuff to the moon because it's threatening actually the well-being of our people as well too. You see what I'm saying? So this becomes almost like a political playground or a power playground for the first country that embarks on my idea to tow all of this stuff out of there to the moon. Now, it would not make sense or an idea. People will come up and say, well, hey, well, how come you just don't go ahead and collect it up into a ball and make a space vessel right here in space? Well, because people imagine that large of an object come crashing back down into our world if it decides that it doesn't want to stay in orbit no more. So that's a big problem. So it's best that this stuff gets safely landed onto a surface like that of the moon, like that of the sun, like that of Venus, or like that of Mars, where it's out of immediate threat of coming back into our world. Or imagine if one day that a reverse polarity scenario is set up where our planet polarity reverses and all of this stuff comes in at once, crash back into our world. Look at that. Be like something like that you see in a horror movie where a bunch of kitchen forks and all through a magnetic field, everything forks all come flying back at you. That's what this would be like. So, and actually I see a fork over here. It's amazing because I see a fork. Let me bring that up. See the fork over there. Imagine all of that stuff like that there come crashing back down, giant forks into our world. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? But anyway, now, here's another thing too, people. I have another video here, which is amazing about all of this, is that this is a wonderful idea, by the way, too, people. So I appreciate to hear some likes on this. But imagine this, people, that, you know, we talk about UFOs and UFO sighting. I have a video on this as well, too. Imagine this, and I have a video as a dark room for creating for lifting photo images. Now our sun is hitting these objects, these metallic objects. So we have a dark room and we have an object where it actually has an image that can be transferred. So now the X-ray energy of the sun are hitting these metallic objects, and through that chemistry it is creating almost like a photographic image, which is now being relayed back into our world, and the skies of our world becomes the screen, a drive-in screen, if you will, which can be played during the day or during the night because of the intensity, depending on the intensity of the radiator energy of the sun upon that object. So now we have UFOs in our skies based on the image of objects that's being transmitted via the chemistry of the sun and the objects that is hitting and being projected back into our world like an overhead projector that you would have in a classroom at school. So we have the dark room, which is the backdrop, which allows the image to be reflected only back into our world based on the way that it's being hit with the sun. So now we have these objects being seen in a photogenic like scenario in our world, and people are eyewitnesses are identifying them as being what? UFOs. So this is what my video is based on that I've created about this first video about this space junk thing. Now, you can't, now, every UFO from the very first time, I believe it's the 1940s, that we have sent an object into space, from the very first UFO that went into space. And that scenario, that it's a very logical scenario, and it's a very plausible scenario, and a very realistic scenario that I just suggested. You have to now say that every UFO sighting from that day forward, from that day that we first put our first man-made object in space, that it must be considered that any UFO sighting thereafter must be equated with any of the objects from that day forward that was being seen in our world through a photogenic chemistry via that of space, which is the dark room, our sun, which is the lighting for the camera, and the energy as well too, the radiation, and the object, which is being transmitted via a photogenic chemistry back into our world onto the air spaces, which are the screens. And having said that, every object that eyewitnesses accounts of cylindrical objects, of circular objects, of disc-like objects, all of these objects can be matched to something that is here. Now, I'm going to move away from that because I have a video on that. Now, people, let's bet that you're with me. All of this space junk can be cleaned away because the same technology that put it there is the same technology that can move it away, have it towed away to the surface of the moon and recycled into a metallic colony vessel on the moon surface, where each one of these objects can be recycled and created into something that is usable somewhere else besides being here as a threat to every mankind or every living thing or the well-being of everybody that is on the opposite end of this. My name is Jerome Wright. You're watching my Jerome Wright channel, and again, this is an amazing video. I appreciate you for watching, and here's another image there, okay, of the space junk that is there. So the next time you think of a spaceship going up, you know what you should ask yourself? I should actually make a boycott group. I should make I should go out and make like a committee that is against sending spaceships up until they clean this mess up. Every time a spaceship goes up, go get the groups and all on committee and go stand out there with it and say, hey, listen, won't you clean this up first? Won't you devise a vessel to clean this up? I mean, it looks real pretty when NASA sends you back all those, excuse me, all of those images of nebulae masses and space and all of that. But how about this? How about this stuff? You see what I'm saying? That is threatening us. So every object is a threat. Could be falling down, you and your kids in your house sleeping, and a piece of this space object come down right through your living room and wipe you out. It's done. You're done. What are the chances of that? Of something like this here falling back to the planet and missing, causing detrimental damage to someone or some living thing? It's a threat. Collect all of this stuff up and take it where? Tow it to, I'm going to click out and then I'm going to close up the moon. Create a recovery vessel that is capable of towing that stuff to the moon, where it is no threat to no one and could be reused. Here's the surface of the moon, and could be reused as reusable metal to create a colony shelter for those that so desire to be on the moon in that way. My name is Jerome Wright, and here's an image to give you an idea. I guess it's a toy image of oh no, that's probably an actual image here. Yeah. So we have it here. You see this? You know, I guess this is like a what you call image, but anyway, a virtual image. It seems like anyway. But look, see, oh, matter of fact, it says Moon Colony with Rover. You see what it's saying here? Moon Colony with Rover. You see this? So imagine bringing all that space junk from there, towing it here, bringing it down here, and these guys making, and imagine this being some some space debris that was towed here. These guys recovering it, and as it's coming, they're making a shelter out of it. Come on, people. Thumbs in the air. My name is Jerome Wright. You're watching my Jerome Wright channel, and I'm going to end that video on that note. Pose the question, as I sometimes am, about, because on that site I talk about space junk being in space and about the damning effects that it has, because this here is what you're looking at, and these are images, space images of space debris and space junk. Even over here, someone even actually put a garbage truck floating in space, because that's pretty much is what's going on, because all of these objects that you see here is that of space junk. Okay, and to give you an idea of what's out there, can you see that image there? That's pretty much what it looks like. Now, I was reasonably believed that it was 2,000 pieces, not 6,000 pieces of space debris, and come to find out that I think somebody said that there was like about 20,000. And the threat about all of this being in space is the fact that it sometimes come back to Earth, and it could actually land anywhere that it wants to, in a metropolitan area, on a farm as it is here, in the suburbs, anywhere that it so darn pleases. Okay? So the guy asked me, he said, well, Jerome, what do you do with it? You know what I mean? What is your idea for it? And normally when I'm challenged with a question and it interests me, I challenge my mind to answer the question. And in this case, the answer became very clear, crystal clear. And I responded to him there on my Alien UFOs forum. And now I'm going to create this video. So what do you do? Look at this. Look at this. Here's an image here of it actually coming down. And there's a guy actually standing at a ball of it there that fell from space. So what do you do with such objects that threaten to come falling out of space, and on a re-entry, no telling what kind of damage or where it would hit? What do you do with this stuff? Well, the answer is logically, to me, crystal clear. It comes to me crystal clear. NASA is always, and they're adding to this. So who put this junk there? Well, it's my position that we all know that. I mean, through all of the space explorers, every government body or continent that actually... Hello, everybody. Jerome Wright here once again. And again, you're joining me on my Jerome Wright YouTube channel here on YouTube. Okay. In this video, I'm going to be, again, making it a pretty amazing find and discovery. And it's so much of an idea or a scenario that I created. I was just on my Alien UFO site. If any of you that want to go there, it's Alien UFOs, Dreams and Experiences. And that's the Dreams and Experience Forum. And my title there is I Am an Alien and So Are You. And it's under my name, Jerome. Basically, I was our country that actually sent up a satellite that they don't use now, a spaceship that they don't use now, or these tanks. They're all responsible for this stuff. So what do you do about cleaning this up? Let me bring up that garbage truck. Whoa. Let me bring up the image of the garbage truck. What do you do about cleaning this up? There, you see that there? This is pretty much what's happening. Take about 20,000 of these garbage trucks and float them around our planet. And that is what we have there with these satellites. Some of this stuff is even bigger, people. And at any time, you run the risk of the threat of these things losing orbit with our planet and come crashing back down. And they don't discriminate where they fall. Okay? So, how do we fix this problem? That's what the guy asked me. Okay? And